What's up, everybody? We got another great weekend of fights. UFC Fight Night, Sandhagen versus Yadong. That means we got some more fight predictions coming your way. So if you're not ready, it's time to get ready. This is 101 MMA Clinic. Let's go.
Are you ready? I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's go.
What's up, brother? Cheers.
What's up? Cheers. Oh, where's my beer?
What you got tonight?
I have Bosnian one from back
Oh,
home.
okay. Keeping it Balkan. I just got some cherry cola tonight. Oh,
You're gonna have some beers tomorrow night. Hopefully, save yourself.
that's right. Yeah, I have to fucking pace myself, especially after last week. I almost died, but I'm good now. I'm good.
Was
All
fun
right.
couple days.
Yeah, no, I haven't drank since. But since then, we had a big weekend of fights. We actually got to watch this one together, and it's pretty fun. How'd you do over with your bets?
I mean, I did okay. I was expecting to do much better. Like I was really pissed. Okay, in my opinion, Leach won. You know,
Yeah,
and like that crazy thing, what happened with that upkick in the liver. Like
I think that's the first time I've seen that. I've seen up kicks get the knockout, but to the liver, like
yeah.
I thought that shit was like a crotch shot, and I'm sitting there thinking like, does that even hurt girls? Like, shouldn't that be legal?
I don't know.
But
That's the mystery. Like I was really like when Chason took the second round. Like she was in big trouble in first round. And when she managed to turn it around in the second round, I was like, yeah, that's it. That two fights went through, and I think one. I mean, he won, but he didn't won, so he didn't went through. Like I'll be pretty much up. Like this, I was okay. Like I won. Like I think I double up almost my bank, so that's good. But like like when you see where you could go. Like and I had some bets that I made some mistakes, but like I managed to pull out. Like I did on Barnett fight, I went down and then I put like $60 and I managed to get back to the, I think 400, and then it was again back and forth. Like I was gambling a lot. Like we were drinking and I was drinking even like back home. So like all money that I lost on gambling. Like this was like my pick, and the biggest like I don't know now how to say in because like when I'm betting, I'm usually switching to decimal. It's easier for me. I
mm,
think that this is like give me a second. For I think it's pretty much plus 500. I think
mhm.
so. This is the pretty good catch. This was like I think maybe even the highest. If you're not counting Holland, maybe it was even higher than Holland. It was there, and I managed to catch it. So that's the pretty good one that pulled me up back in the game, and then after that I had couple other nice catches. So not bad at the end. I cannot complain.
Mhm. Yeah, is that like a more seen in Serbia and Europe, that style of like showing the odds? Because I do see a lot of like the plus or
Yeah,
the
I think that's more or less universal, but because even when you go to the DraftKings, when you switching, there's like a decimal. So this is probably like there's
okay.
like a and when you switch to plus and minus, it's like basically staying as American, you know.
Uh-huh.
So I think the only here in the states they use that like plus 100 minus 200 whatever. But let's call it plus and minus.
Yeah, so it looks like you didn't completely lose on the Aldana and the Chiazon fight because you still called it for the under 2.5 rounds.
Yeah, but actually, that was like on the border. If I'm right, I think that was like, or no, yeah, it was the beginning of the third round, something like that. I think,
Oh, okay.
or maybe even on the
Well,
middle. Like don't let me check. That would be interesting fact to check. I think it was just like few seconds if I remember good, like we were drunk, so I have an excuse,
The
But
drinks
let
were
me
flowing,
see.
that was for sure.
Yeah, it was 2:21, so basically 9 or 8 seconds.
Oh shit, nice.
Yeah, yeah,
Did
yeah.
you realize that at the time? Because
Yeah,
at
I
the
think I did, and then
okay,
I forgot. Like because like now when
yeah,
we are talking, I had it in my head, so I probably realized. But after that, I forgot it because like
yeah.
we had.
So, brother, you look bummed after that fight, right at the end, but you won some. You won some.
Yeah, but I think I put more money on her, like so that's why I was a little bit pissed, and especially like because that was pulling my parlays. I think was she after Walker? I think she was.
Yeah,
Ninth,
I want to say
yeah.
Walker started off the night.
So
Yeah,
basically, I would just wait. I think for Nate Diaz on few parlays for really good money. That's why I was like pissed. Because like I caught Johnny Walker. It was really good odds on him and a couple other. I don't know now from top of my head, but like that one was pulling me to only wait Diaz for pretty much like 500-600 bucks. So that's why I was that pissed. Now you know why.
yeah,
Remember, I think I said even I just lost 600 bucks
yeah.
because I was pretty sure that Diaz will won, and we can see that in next slide. Like I think like yeah, I put 100 bucks that he will win, and I went a little bit more that it's gonna be because I think it's gonna be under 4.5.
Yeah, and that's crazy. Like I know Tony has been finished lately, but I didn't see Diaz finishing him, and then it happened, and in classic Nate Diaz fashion, he turns a striker into a wrestler, and then he chokes him out. Even though Ferguson's a wrestler, like he wasn't wrestling until he got pieced up, and then sinks in that guillotine.
And what about finishing on 209?
Yeah, how about that? Some people say it wasn't scripted, but 209, come on, that was scripted the whole time.
No, I think we are living in some cartoon movies, like Simpsons or how they predict. Maybe everything is like that. And I wanted to say like, and maybe you should make like during this week like some picture with Nate Diaz and like we from 101 MMA clinic
Yeah,
recognize the king from 209. I was thinking something like that.
yeah. I mean, we were definitely giving him his respect leading up to that, and he just freaking still managed to impress. I think we both thought he's gonna win, and the way he did it, the theater of like just chilling on the cage, man. Like I looked away for a second, so like when I rewatched the fight, I saw that, and most fighters, if they did that, I think the referee would have just stopped the fight, right? Because like he was kind of. Did you go back and watch that? I don't know if you
No,
watched it in
no,
real
I
time,
didn't saw that.
but he was just fucking with Ferguson. But after a few leg kicks, he like turned away. He turned away from Ferguson, nodding his head, putting his hands on the cage like he was done. But he was just baiting Ferguson into a brawl. I think he obviously wasn't done.
He wasn't done for sure, for sure. Yeah, that was super amazing fight, and now when we go back, and see also comes a performance, like we said, there was a small chance, like for him, for Nate to win that fight, but like I saw that guillotine, like later when we were doing some breakdowns, uh, that guillotine was actually like prepared, I think, from Kamzat, and it
Yeah,
happens to pay off against Tony, and but again, when we see the performance that Kamzat had, like I mean, I still would put like because we were talking about the odds and everything, but like that guy is a beast, like it's
yeah.
crazy.
It's like after seeing him fight like that, I think he has a solid chance of beating like both divisions and just being double champ. There are certain styles that I think could give him trouble, but as it stands now, the two champions, Leon Edwards and Stylebender, I think they would have trouble with Kamza.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for Easy, I think Easy is gonna be a bad matchup for him. You know,
Yeah.
Easy has that like really really good striking, good movement. And solid takedown defense. Like only who took him so far, it's Blachowicz. But like he was like I don't know how much heavier. But I think Gamzat also in that fight he can come pretty much like same weight or even heavier than Easy, to be honest.
Yeah, there were a couple times against Calvin Gastelum that Gastelum took him down, but Izzy was able to be like active enough from his guard to threaten submissions and then scramble
Yeah.
his way back up. So like Izzy's no slouch on the ground, but I mean Kamzat is a fucking animal, man.
No,
Like
that's crazy. And you saw like when Holland defended for first Dars, I think you were next to me. I was like,
yeah,
yes, that's it, because I was expecting like that Kamzat is gonna burn out, especially with that bad weight cut and everything.
uh,
I was really expecting it. I put my money on Holland, like,
mhm.
and I saw that he can maybe win in some scenario. And honestly, I think maybe that he escaped that round finishes a heavy grappling exchanges, and then I would like to see the start of the second round, because also I think how he took him down. I mean, it wasn't like how they say they wanted to clap the hands, like at least Holland went for that, like,
Yeah,
and Kamsa just went right away. I mean, it was a nothing so now big deal, because like he didn't
yeah,
like he went for like a fake jab and directly, like, so I think he wasn't even aware. He was just like, I think he was trying to finish it fast, because
yeah.
of that bad weight cut and how everything went through. I think he didn't want to have a long fight, especially not 5 rounds.
Yeah, and especially with that performance, I saw like some people complaining that he didn't go for the glove touch, but after that performance, it looks like it didn't even matter. Even if he did touch the hands, like he was gonna take him down and do whatever he wanted anyway.
Maybe, but I think harder, like, because like, he would have to work maybe a little bit more for that takedown. Like
Maybe.
this, Kevin Holland was like, he's tall anyway, lengthy guy, and he went like up, and I think that gave a little bit, so he didn't have like his way down, But
Yeah,
I'm not saying I think he would destroy him first round anyway. It's just the question, like I said, and that was one of the reasons why I gave it to Holland, and why I tried to catch that one on him. Uh, is also like a later rounds, how much your
mhm.
body can take, especially like after like stopping that weight cut and all that problems.
Yeah. I'm excited for whoever he fights next. It probably should be at middleweight because it sounds like the welterweight cuts don't do too good for him. But there's a lot of exciting matchups at welterweight too. I kind of want to see that Kobe Covington fight.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of what you can go with him, and especially now, I think his stock is like so high, especially now. A lot of guys cannot stand him, because
Yeah,
of missing the weight, and especially how he talks, like, I think now he's getting like that Conor McGregor. You love him or you hate him, you know,
yeah,
and just like no, you're interesting in seeing him, and I think like now his stock is so up, it's crazy.
for sure. And I'm one of those guys where it's like I'm on the fence. Like when he missed weight, I was like, oh, that's bullshit. And then and it looked like he didn't even try to make weight. He wasn't like sorry about it. And like I was getting like I was kind of a hater at that point. But then honestly, after that performance, I'm like, he's the guy right now. He's the guy. So I give him props for that.
Yeah, again, I'm staying behind what I said, that it went like in the second round and that he didn't get that takedown so easy. I think we would have a good fight, But like
Yeah.
it is what it is. Let's go forward. Let's leave him. I don't want to talk about him until next time he fights.
That sounds good. Hopefully it's soon. All right, let's get started. Actually, you had some some good bets for the Dana White's Contender Series, no?
Yeah, yeah. Last night I managed to get like I said, I went like parlay. I managed to get everything. It was like 1480. That's like let me do the math. Like uh 50 plus 1500. You know, that's pretty good. So basically, that I put $100, I would get like I think fifteen
I
hundred.
think you have 1,500 if you put
Fifteen
down a
hundred,
hundred.
yeah. And on this one, that I put $100, I would be like 900 up. So basically, not bad, you know. And I didn't even do too much research, like I said. And sorry guys for that. I didn't even have too much time to prepare for this one. So it's gonna be one on one with Patrick. I'm just gonna go the same like how I did with this, you know, like from the stats. And basically I did 5 or 10 minutes watching it. I just went through the matches. I I cre- I connected. I went like I think one parlay. I went only underdogs and just to be there. And from two, like I guess I get this one where I really pay attention because I think I have three favorites and two underdogs on this one. You know, so pretty good.
Yeah, I think there's something to that. Like sometimes you could watch too many fights and maybe even get emotional with like your decisions. But when you just look at the numbers, look at the stats, maybe that kind of helps with your betting. I'm thinking that you didn't watch the fights leading up to this on purpose for that reason.
Maybe you just want to give me an alibi, you know, like because I didn't do the homework, you know.
Yeah,
But it is what it is, you know. Like I have a good excuse, you know that. So let's
yeah.
go and let's see what I can do from this perspective. Talking about being lazy, like because all the changes that happened lately and everything, and we need a little bit break. We went only for four matchups. Like they say now, by it's gonna be six in the main card, but I think they're gonna cut one from the main card, and it's gonna be only five. But for this weekend, we guys prepare only four, so it is what it is. You can complain, we don't give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, in the last 2 days looking at this, there's been three changes that I know of. So, I mean, we're sitting here talking on Wednesday. There's probably going to be more changes, but we picked four, and hopefully those four stick, especially the main event. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, me too, me too. That's the only one that I study a little bit. So
Yeah. Well, starting it off, we got two big boys. We got Tanner Bozer versus Rodrigo Nascimento. Rodrigo Nascimento. Um, I don't know if you watch any of these. I've watched a bit of both. Um, Before watching Rodrigo's fights, just looking at his record, I mean, this guy's a stud. Like all of his wins are finishes. He's got 100% finish rate and a lot by submission. So naturally, going into this, I'm like, hey, I kind of like this guy, a heavyweight with submissions. Usually those are my kind of guys that I like Frank Mir, one of my favorite fighters, Tom Aspinall also up there with the submissions. But taking a look at his fights, like he doesn't have a lot of UFC experience, and he's like 1-1-1 right now in the UFC. His last fight was originally a TKO, but he got popped for like steroids or some shit, like some PEDs. Are yeah. I don't know too much about that. Are you familiar with what is this? It's like Ritalinic acid. Do you
I
know?
don't know. Like I saw that he got performance of the night, and he
Yeah,
was on performance. How do you say? What's the
performance
word?
enhancement of the night.
Enhancement. Yeah, yeah. So he had a double performance that night. You know.
And to be honest, it kind of showed because in the striking bouts, like he was getting tagged, he was getting hit hard, and he was just taking the punches, and eventually he was able to land a few of his own and win by TKO. Actually, after he kicked the dudes in the nuts. But the fight before that against shit, who was it? Chris Dawkins, and he didn't pop for steroids for that one. He could not eat those same shots. He got TKO'd.
What
So
did
I,
you say? What's the name of that steroid?
Ritalinic acid. So I looked it up, and it's like methem, whatever, whatever, whatever. So I think it's like a stimulant, like it's related to like speed, kind of.
Okay, okay. So
I
next
don't,
time when I
so
know that Stefan is gonna beat me up, I know what to take. You know.
yeah, I mean, maybe it'll help you take shots. I mean, maybe he's taking other shit that helps him do that.
Is it
But
also like stopping you from crying? Because that's most painful for me when she's beating me up.
I don't know if it helps with that. So good luck, brother.
I don't know. I'm gonna research.
Just be a good husband. I think that's what you could do.
Ah, that's not so.
uh, fuck. Like Tanner Bozer, he's got knockout power. He's fought higher level competition than Nascimento. I think if you just look at their records and what they've been doing lately, maybe you'd go with Rodrigo, but I'm going the opposite. I'm going with Tanner Bozer. He's got, I mean, almost three times the amount of professional MMA fight experience against higher level guys. You know, he hasn't been on like a crazy win streak, but I think he's gonna put some hands on Rodrigo. And if Rodrigo's not taking those PEDs, he's probably gonna put him out. So I'm going with Tanner, first round TKO.
Yeah. Uh, like he's a favorite on minus 165. And Rodrigo is underdog with plus 140. So interesting fact, like they both have performance of the night, and more interesting, like I think they have even the less from all the matchups that we pick. You know, everybody else that we're gonna talk about, they have at least two, three performance or fight of the night. So I think like we are sleeping on this card. You know, like it's gonna bring some heat. You know, like that's I don't even know. I didn't calculate, but like 8 person that we're gonna talk about tonight, they have more than maybe even 30 performance and fight of the night. So I think we're gonna see the good main card, you know. But just like after the last weekend, you know, everything is under the radar. You know, like whoever more or less, however is good a matchup or the fight, you know, like it cannot get to the hype of the last weekend, and everybody is now settling down. So it's hard to hype up, you know. But
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have a really good matches and good card. Uh, Talking about this matchup, you know, like I can see like if Rodrigo takes him down like really easily, it's gonna be his. You know, if it stays standing like and like you said, and he is not on PDs, like really easily it can be like very short night for him, you know. And also it's a question how he looks like after almost I think a year yeah, more than a year,
Hmm.
you know. So it's question like in what edition he's gonna come, especially like he was forced probably like to take at least 6 months and or
Right.
maybe even whole year because he got popped, you know. So I'm like 50-50 on this one. If he managed to put it on the ground, that's him for sure. But that's not like you don't need like brainstorming for that. You know, it's pretty easy. So I think he has a chance in this match. It's just like a question how this break influence him. So I'm gonna go with Rodrigo.
Yeah, and it's interesting you mentioned like the suspension. It was only a 6 month suspension, and he was only fined $2,000. So you got to think like if you're taking those PEDs and it only costs you 6 months time and $2,000, like some of these guys are probably weighing those options and saying, "Hey, it's worth it. Like I'm gonna do that."
Yeah, I think like it's also first offense, you know. And again, it's a question what they're taking. I think how I understood you, this is like maybe like little bit stronger Adderall,
Hmm.
if I'm correct. Like so. Again, it's like depends what are you taking. I don't know. Talking about like how much TJ Dillashaw. I think when he got caught first time, he got like longer.
I want to say it was 2 years, first
Yeah,
offense,
two
2 years.
years because like he was doing like that blood transfusion was the name now. Me
Yeah.
and the names I
I
can
don't
keep.
think it was EPO, but it was something like
Depo.
similar to that.
No,
Yeah.
EPO. I think it
It
was
was
EPO.
EPO?
Yeah, I think it was EPO with him.
Yeah. It's different steroids than I take.
Me too.
I'm just on acai and cherry cola.
Let's go to the next one.
All right, next up, we got Bill Algeo versus Andre Feely. Andre Touchy Feely. Um, this is an interesting one. Andre Feely, I believe he's coming off of two losses. If you're looking at his record, it's pretty checkered, and usually after a loss he gets a win. But I think this is actually gonna break that, and this is gonna be another loss in a row for him. Um, just judging by Bill Algio's skill set and also his record. If you look at Feely's last loss against Brito, um, Bill Algio has a nice performance and a win over that same guy. Um, it's crazy though. Looking at this fight, Bill Algio, I didn't know too much about him, but if you look at him fighting, he looks like a karate guy, and with his karate stance, his striking, it makes sense that his last two fights, people are just trying to take him down. And it was crazy because he's defending these takedowns, he's making them really work for it, and he's getting out of submission threats. And when he's out of them, he actually looks like he's still fresh. Meanwhile, the guy's tired. I looked further into it, and he's actually like a jujitsu black belt, and he started with wrestling and boxing, which to me was just crazy because like you look at him, he looks like a straight up karate guy. So I think for Feely, he's gonna have a lot of problems with this in the striking and in the wrestling. You know, he comes from a team alpha male background, so maybe he's gonna try to grind up on Bill Algio, but I don't see him getting it done really anywhere. I'm going with Algio on this one.
Yeah, and I think like maybe even like if you look like Philly, like that one non contest, like that's also like on some way you can go as a defeat, because like he didn't finish the fight, he didn't get that victory. So basically, three fights in the row, he doesn't have a victory.
Yeah.
So it's a big question, how much that influence on his mentality and everything, and like saying about uh Allegio, he's coming out of two victories, one against Burns,
Hmm.
so I think he has the momentum, like and if you look like when since he came to UFC, he had a loss, win, loss, and now he's taking, like I said, that momentum.
Hmm.
And I think with him, he's like even is he a slight no? Yeah, he's slight underdog with plus 110. So I would go with him. And talking about again, he has one performance of the night, one fight of the night, and Philly has two performances of the night. So like I said, coming up now through the card, we're gonna have a lot of guys that have like that. So that's why I'm thinking we're gonna see really, really interesting fights. So I don't repeat myself anymore.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this one's a good one. Like they both really have exciting styles, even though like, Feely's maybe having trouble in this part of his career. One thing to note about Algio is his first fight in the UFC, he was taking a short notice replacement fight. He was replacing Ryan Hall against Ricardo Lamas. So to me, anytime you like your first fight in the UFC and it's on short notice, I kind of give him a little bit more leeway. there.
Yeah, and it's a fight of the night. It was a fight of the night.
I almost don't even count that as a loss. That's just like, hey, that's your UFC debut against Ricardo Lamas, a veteran. But like since then, I think he's looked really good. But speaking about fighting veterans, like I think it was in Andre Fili's second fight. Yeah, second fight in the UFC. He fought Max Holloway, and I remember that because I thought he actually was doing really well until he got guillotined. But that's some guy, Andre Fili, who I've always watched and thought like, man, he has like the tools to win. Looks good against good guys, but just as of late, maybe he's underperforming, or I don't know, maybe the motivation isn't there. It doesn't look like he's. I mean, he's in a different spot than Max Holloway, right?
Yeah, and for a long time he's in UFC. Like you said, he fought who is a who of that category. He also went with Qatar, with Rodriguez, with
Mm.
Rodriguez. So he has more experience, and that's why I think he's even a little bit slight favorite in this match. But I think, like you said, it's question where he is, especially three fights without the win. So like I said, I'm gonna go with Bill on this one.
Yeah, me too. And the fact that Bill's a slight underdog, I think that I like those odds for him.
Yep. Who we got
All right.
next?
Next up, we got Chidi Njokuani versus Gregory Rodriguez. This is going to be an exciting fight. I don't know if you've seen, but Chidi's brother Anthony Njokuani, he's been in the UFC for a little bit, and he was a very exciting striker in the UFC. This is his younger brother, Chidi, and I think he's kind of like a better version of him, honestly. Like, I really like his clinch, his ground and pound, and he doesn't seem like he's kind of afraid to work the grappling, something that I think was his brother Anthony's weakness. This guy, he's got lightning quick strikes. He's super efficient in his strikes, which I think helps him like to actually grapple. Right, I've seen like some guys with like crazy knockout power. They want to hide away from like the grappling as much as possible because it does tire out your arms, your legs, and then it takes away from your power. This guy, even after the grappling, it's like he's just still so efficient with his striking that it almost doesn't matter. And then you got almost not the complete opposite, but Gregory Rodriguez, who's like he's not as fast, but dude, when he connects, it's like he makes people different, when he touches them, and it doesn't look like he's throwing a lot either. This is going to be an exciting fight. I think it's going to end in a knockout for sure. But yeah, another thing that impressed me, like, do you know this Serbian fighter, Dusko?
Dushko Todorovic. Yeah, yeah. I just want to say that, like, interesting fact, like, Gregory's first fight in UFC was against Dushko,
Hmm.
and Chidi's last fight was against Dushko, and like really like a brutal KO with the elbow.
Hmm.
So if you're doing like a mat like that, Chidi has an advantage because he managed to finish Dushko, and Gregory won on decision. But what I want to say about that, like it's really interesting for me um, to see also Dushko. Like I think he was supposed. I mean, I don't know for which reason he doesn't want to go down in welterweight, but he's really small middleweight, and he
Hmm.
has a really good movement and everything. Uh, but I guess like, and if he managed, like again, I think the like comparing to that matchup, I was going from there. Like I said, I didn't have too much time to prepare. Like I think the movement and the speed is gonna be on Chidi's side, so he has that advantage, and that's gonna give him more opportunity, like, and I don't think he will stand in front of Gregory, like where he can put that his power, on and maybe win that match, so for me, um and even like was the Gregory is like slight underdog 105, and Chidi is minus 125. So I think also about the Chidi, he's Bellator veteran. Like I think he went and now he's making his peak. Also, like in Bellator, he had a problem with cutting the weight,
Mhm.
missing the weight, switching the category, and I think he had two losses and then he got fired from Bellator. But like I think now he really settled with that weight, where
Yeah.
his power and where everything, where he's feeling healthy, and he got smarter and he's not missing the weight anymore because I think also he missed the weight in middleweight. Don't hold me um, 100% that's true, but like I think he got more discipline and now like how everything settles. Like when you have some potential, but like everything is like moving around, and I think now he's on good direction. Especially we can see two fights, two performance of the night.
Mhm.
It's crazy. So I think like mm, I think he's gonna win even this one, and if not, we're gonna win for sure because this is gonna be hell of the fight.
Yeah, both guys are coming off wins, I believe, and Enja Kawani, Chidi, he's on a four-fight win streak, all finishes, and yeah, I think Gregory the same thing. Like in his last fight, it was very very impressive the way that he was able to put Julian Marquez out. So we win no matter what. I agree with that. Let's go. Next one. Actually, real quick, Gregory Rodriguez is an LFA champion before he was coming into the UFC. I want to say in our next fight, Corey Sandhagen, was he an LFA champion as
Yeah,
well?
he was in LFA. Was he a champion? I think he wasn't because like he had like I think one loss, two wins, and then he jumped to UFC. Is that correct? Let me see. Just yeah, I don't think he was a champion. Like what I know, he was
Oh, okay.
SEL.
SCL champion. Okay.
SEL. Yeah, yeah. I don't think he wasn't long enough because like he had like I think in his first fight loss and then like two wins and then
Mhm.
he on the short notice I think I think that was after his fight in LFA. Yeah, actually 8 days after that he was fighting in UFC.
Yeah, for some reason I thought he had a longer record in LFA, but actually the majority of his fights at this point have now been in the UFC. And I think part of it, it's just he's been tearing through guys and finishing a lot of them that it's like it goes by so fast. I kind of forget how long he's been in here.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, when is that? 2018? Yeah, correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I heard for him even before he came to UFC. I think it was around that time. My coach of Thai boxing and Boyan's also like he was there helping Boyan prepare for the fight, and he trained a little bit with Corey, and he said he started saying for that like this guy is gonna be like he was like so impressed with his striking that I never heard him, I think, talking about anyone like
Really.
till that point, and maybe even after that. Like, even gave him Serbia name, like Strahinja.
Do you remember for around what fight that was that you started
Uh,
hearing about
I
Sandhagen?
think that was before his first fight when he was still in LFA.
Hmm.
Don't get me wrong, like the time zone, but like I think it was even before the UFC, almost for sure, because like nobody heard about him, and Boba was saying like, yeah, this guy's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, and obviously he was right. I mean, his last fight was a title fight. The fight before that was like a title eliminator. If you look at his record, it looks like, oh, maybe he's like on a downturn because he's coming off of two losses, but really his record doesn't really like tell the actual story. I think you could argue he beat TJ Dillashaw, at least from like a damage point of view, right?
Yeah, that's for
Maybe
sure.
yeah, like maybe TJ he did enough to win like three of the rounds, but I mean it was a split decision. It was close, and Corey Sandhagen looked completely fine after the fight, whereas TJ was, he was beat up. He had surgery after that.
Yeah, Yeah, judging on the damage, he won that fight for sure.
Yeah.
Like, but what I wanted to say, and very interesting. Like, I had even opportunity to train a little bit when I was there with him and to watch him train. Like, it's just about his movement, I think, and setting up things like how he set up the flying knee against the Frankie. How he set up, like, with his movement, he's setting you up where you want to go, and he almost like got that knee also with TJ Dillashaw in the first round, if you
Yeah.
remember. So he's really good in setting you up and then firing. And he's really loose with his striking. And that's what I really like, and I like to watch him. But I think this is like very bad matchup for him.
Really.
Similar guy to Jan, but I think with much more power, and young guy that's coming like after I think 3 victories or in the row. Is
Yep.
that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think he really getting like full the potential, So it's gonna be very interesting to see what the Corey's answer is gonna be on that movement and that power, because I think Yadong is really it's really technically sound, so he will not make a big mistakes.
He really is, and like he has a very good shot selection. I think with his combos, he'll mix up body and head within one combo, which is really nice to see. I would say that I agree that like Sandhagen, he's fought Peter Yan, which is kind of similar to Yadong, and also with John Lineker. John Lineker, I think, is kind of similar to Yadong as well. Heavy punches to the body and the head. Um, and for that reason, I think, maybe Yadong has the power to hurt Corey, but I think with this style, even if it's a bad matchup, Corey has seen it a few times, and like he lost to Peter, but that was short notice. That was
Yeah.
on a 4 weeks notice in Abu Dhabi, so a little bit of travel, and I just think this is the fight that Corey's gonna kind of get back on track, back into like the top of the division with. But like, man, if Yadong wins, he's right up there. Because yeah, that would be four in a row, and he's coming off of two finishes in a row.
Yeah, they can be his shortcut to the uh, title for sure. Like maybe even like right after that, if things work out for him, he can get a shot. You know, uh, so I don't know. This one is really heavy for me because like I know Corey, and even if I think that he will not win, I would go for him. But like now it's double because I think he can find a way to win it. So I would say I would go with Corey for sure.
Yeah, and I think like with Yadong's style, it's scary because he does have a lot of power and he's been knocking people out. But the fact that he does press forward so much, I think could actually be good for Corey Sandhagen, especially like I think he generally does well against shorter fighters that come forward. So shit, I think he could knock out Yadong, which would be very impressive because Yadong has only lost one fight since what 2017, and that loss was a decision. It wasn't a KO. So this is a fight I'm looking for, like Sandhagen to kind of stake his place at the top.
No, I really can't wait for this fight. And this is the only fight that before I start looking a little bit that I was interested in watching. And then when I went through statistic and little bit watched the fights, I was like, "Ooh, this is gonna be interesting." Like we said, how many like
Mhm.
performance and fight of the night. But like, what's interesting here for me, if Corey can catch him entering, because like song goes so explosive, so crazy, and I don't see many openings. If he can find the openings and connect, I think it's gonna be pretty bad KO. Maybe like even like he has like he's basically walking living highlight real, since he came to UFC. I don't know how many like top notch KOs he had. I think this can be the most brutal one.
Yeah,
I just like think he have to be even more sharper than he is, even though I think he's like top sniper in UFC. But like if he connects in that, like, because I really like how Song entering, like so aggressive, so explosive. It's crazy. Like it's basically like tornado going through the city. And also, like, what for me interesting fact, like, will he use wrestling? He moved to Alpha Male, another guy from Alpha Male
yeah,
on this card. So it's question like how good is he wrestling, because he looks like a very powerful guy. So it's question how much his wrestling improve. Is it on the level that he can put Corey down and maybe make a problem there and win on
yeah.
that way?
I think that would be a good idea, but at the same time, like if you're going against Corey Sandhagen, who, like you said, he's known for these highlight reel knockouts, but then also Yadong's coming off of two TKOs, like from striking. I wonder if he sees that and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to try to prove myself against Sandhagen, and maybe a little of that ego will come out." Even though I think the smart game plan would be to grapple with Sandhagen if you're trying to beat him.
Yeah, but like also Corey is like mm, really trying to improve his ground game. What I saw, like he's like even like against Dillashaw, he try like to do some jujitsu, going especially for the leg locks, and
Yeah,
that's for me super interesting that he start training with Ryan Hall, and he
yeah,
start picking it up. And for me, it's dangerous. Like we saw what happened to Gary Tonon, that he tried like one of the
right.
best leg lockers for sure in the world, how he ended up like going. And also, I think Corey was in trouble a couple times with Dillashaw, going
Mhm.
for those leg locks. But like at the end, I think even pay off for him a little bit. I think he
Yeah,
hurt. Yeah, he hurt the knee in the first round, but also like technically standing, like he's not on that level that Gary Thorne is, you
yeah,
know. And if you try, it can be really dangerous and it can cost a lot. We saw the best what happened to Gary in his
mm,
fight for a title.
yeah. And even Ryan Hall, and that's someone
Yeah,
that,
saying about Ryan Hall, yeah, yeah. What happened also to him, and he is on much higher level than Corey for sure. So
yeah,
it's a question if he got taken down, will he play? Will he try to play with the legs again? And especially, I think the ground and pound of Song is much more powerful than Dillashaw's. You know,
yeah. Well, have you gotten a chance to roll with Corey
I
when you're out
think
there?
I did. I did for sure. I just don't remember. I, like I
Yeah,
cannot like now recall, so I don't want to talk out of my head. But we
yeah,
did, and what I remember now digging, like he's really he's moving good, and it's hard to hold.
yeah. I'm sure that's one of those things. If you rolled with him now, you're more likely to remember because, like, when you did, like, he's risen so much higher since then.
Yeah, no, I knew even that time, and especially I think at that time when we rolled, because I was there a couple of times.
Hmm.
He was even born roommates, so we were seeing each other at the house, and like I just like like some roles it doesn't stick in your head. But
Yeah,
like you said, probably like that he was at that time like on that level, it would stick more in my memory for sure.
yeah. I'm excited. I think he has got like a good fight IQ too. One thing I think, like, even though he's learning leg locks maybe from Ryan Hall, one mistake that Ryan Hall made was like he just kept going for the same entry over and over again. Where I think with Corey Sandhagen, when he went for the heel hook on TJ, it was like opportunistic. He wasn't forcing it. It was there, and then he just went for it instead of going to the well.
Yeah,
So
and I think it's completely different. Ryan Hall, more or less, that's his bread and butter.
mhm,
And with Corey, it's never gonna be his like first choice. He will always wanted to strike. He will just
yeah,
like similar to Aldana. Like even this submission that she had in the first round, like it was crazy how she didn't didn't manage to finish. It's just like for me, it's so crazy, and I think she even has like a much higher and more dangerous jiu-jitsu than Corey. But for some people, that they have something and they don't then use it. But like
Mhm.
it's always okay to have like a backup. And I think him working on jiu-jitsu and having that like a secret weapon, I think it's a great asset to have. So we will see. I think like even now after a year of I think he fought last time 1 year ago. After this
Mhm.
pause, we're gonna
Yeah.
see a better version of him with more tools in his back for sure.
Yeah, and I remember seeing a headline earlier today, just like a snippet of how he's saying that he's happy that he took the year off, like since the Peter Yan fight. He doesn't usually take a lot of damage, and in that fight, probably the most that I've seen him take in any of his fights. It wasn't crazy, but Yan can hit hard, so I think that year off would be good for him, especially going against another power puncher. And
Yeah, and especially the last two fights were two 5 rounders.
Mhm.
So also like experience is on his side, I think, and that time inside the cage in last couple of fights, it's gonna. I think like when you lose, I think you even improve more, and
Mhm.
especially if it's not like how to say some people start losing and you see it's going downhill, like you said, and I think you said the best at the beginning of this breakdown of this main event, like you he's like climbing up. Like even he had like you said, his score doesn't show. I I think he's climbing up, and I think we're gonna see him soon enough in another attack to the title.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's interesting because the two guys that are fighting for the title next, TJ Dillashaw and Aljamain Sterling, that like whoever wins would be a great rematch for Sandhagen because I think he got maybe I don't even know what to say about the Sterling fight, Corey Sandhagen versus Sterling, because it's like you didn't even get to see Sandhagen fight in that one. So to see a rematch, I think would be a lot different. It probably won't be as quick of a fight. And against Dillashaw, I think he got a raw deal in that one. I don't think the I think it should have went to Sandhagen really, but a rematch for a title fight, I think that'd be very interesting for him.
Yeah, for sure. Especially like I mean, I don't know what's next for Jan. Oh, okay, Jan is with O'Malley. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's gonna be interesting one. Like there's like it's also question. I mean, like when we start breaking up 135, like it's really interesting. Like even if he wins this one, it's hard to get a chance on the title because, like, I think whoever wins from Jan or O'Malley, that's gonna be the next one. Jan, maybe even if Jan win, they're gonna skip him. If O'Malley win, they're not gonna skip him for sure. He is the next in the line. That's 100% sure in my
Yeah. I think it depends because probably if Sterling wins and Jan wins, I could see how they might not make that rematch right away. Um, but if TJ wins, like whoever, it's game for whoever.
Yeah, that's soon enough. I was thinking like to ask you. I mean, I'm gonna ask you who do you got on that one? Sterling, TJ.
Sterling and Dillashaw. Um, That's crazy. I think if there's enough grappling exchanges, Aljo can get it done. But like, even though I thought Dillashaw like should have lost the last fight, that dude's fucking heart, his mental fortitude, and like his conditioning. Maybe he's still on EPO. I don't know. Like that's fucking crazy. So I think even if it gets to the later rounds, I think Dillashaw has a better gas tank than Aljo. But we've seen like Aljo, even if his gas tank isn't the best, if he gets to the back, you're probably not gonna escape. He's either gonna choke you or you're not gonna escape. So that's the big question to me is if Dillashaw can stay away from the grappling long enough, I think he's gonna win that. But if Aljo can find a way to get to your back, then it makes it interesting.
İsyan jedini only guy that survived Aljo on his back.
Earlier in his career, Brian Caraway survived. And that's what I think was really telling is because Aljo had like a really good first round, but then he completely gassed himself. And
Okay,
so
yeah.
from early on, I thought like, okay, Aljo, he's very muscular. He throws a lot into every one of his strikes. So if he doesn't get a finish by knockout or submission, like I think his gas tank, his body's just not meant for 5 rounds of throwing punches as hard as you can, you know?
I agree. Okay, brother, we're gonna break that some other time. I even
Yep.
dropped one Serbian word, like I guess the beer and my brain is fried. I think that's good enough for tonight.
All right. Sounds
That,
good.
that was everything, like only 4 fights, but it is what it is.
Yep. All right. Blame the UFC for that shit, not us.
Yep,
Peace,
that's true.
brother. Be
Have a good
good.
night.